our first the project we're dealing is here is the indexing. The first point we'll discussing here is what do you mean by indexes. Indexes are additional auxiliary access structure which typically provide either faster access to data or secondary access path without affecting the physical storage of data. It is basically a unique combination of keys and address which can be used to identify a record in a file. Now we'll move on to the major classification of indexes. First is primary indexes. In case of primary indexes, the primary key such as the USN in case of student database, patient numbers in case of hospital management system, customer ID or order number in case of any inventory system is sufficient to identify the particular record in a file. Here we use key and address pair to form the index list. Now the other type is the secondary indexes. In case of secondary indexes, we make use of non-primary field as the key for building the index list. It provides multiple entry points into the file. Now is the primary indexing. We'll study in bit brief. A quick review. Consider the following data. Consider three students named Rahul, Abhimanyu, Avinash of different branches. Note the entries and data files are not sorted. Now we'll move on. Consider the following sample index list, the keys and the address to it. Adding a new entry to the index list. Index list after insertion. Deleting an entry from the index list. Push the remaining data up in place of the deleted files. Suppose we have to delete the highlighted entry from the index list, then we can make up the file and remove it from the place we want it, and it will resort it as it can be. Now editing an entry in the index list. When the primary key is modified, we follow an approach of deletion followed by insertion. First point we'll deal with is we first of all read the record from the data files and then delete it. We then make changes to the key field of the copied record and insert it back to the data file. Second, we then delete the previous entry of the record from the index file, extract the key and address the new record from the data file and insert the new key address where in the index list. If a non-key field is modified, the field that is modified is on the primary key, then we will not have to make any changes to index list as neither the key nor the address is modified. But if the records are of variable size, then their size may change due to modification on any field, and then it can become necessary to update the address field in the index list. Searching for a record using primary indexes. If we have the key of a particular record, then to search for the record, all we have to do is retrieve the corresponding address from the index list, search for it in a data file by applying a binary search. If found, go to the address and process the record. Else display error message is stopped. Now we'll move on to the second type of indexing, that's the secondary indexing. A quick overview. Consider the following database as we shown before. Three students name listed below: Rahul, Abhimanyu, Avinash. Initial secondary index. Since we can have a number of secondary key, therefore we also have multiple secondary indexes that provide multiple entry points into the file. Using a name as a secondary key, we get the following initial secondary indexes. For secondary index, key Rahul, Abhimanyu, Avinash, address 100, 200, 300 respectively. Since we make use of addresses which are more prone to changing frequently in the secondary address list, a better approach would be to replace it with the primary key, which in this case USN. This approach gives us a totally new access path as shown in the next slide. The name has been added, the USN address are the primary index, the physical address gives you the data file, then it makes the record and it gives you access file in secondary index. Sometimes we may have more than one entries with the same name. In this case we make use of inverted list. Now we'll introduce with you the new topic, that is inverted list. Inverted lists are used to optimize memory by using secondary index lists. Now name Kritika, Abhimanyu, Sankar. There are three names given with their different USNs. Abhimanyu having three Abhimanyus in our same class with different USNs. Interpretation. If we see case 2, we have three people with the names Abhimanyu in three different batches with different USN numbers. The one problem with the previous method is the space limitation. If we allot more space to store the USN of the record than the actual number of USN, storage space is wasted. Likewise, we may also fall short of storage spaces in case the number of USNs with the same name are more than the allotted space. So we may use of linked lists where we allocate memory dynamically. Now we can just make a linked list. So for using secondary index using linked list, we can add any number of people with the same names, or like a different USN, and we can add them at the point where we want it, or we can delete them as as we are required with. Another way to enhance the secondary storage list is by making use of reference list, which is entirely sequenced. Making use of an entry sequence reference list. Now we can see, as for the first name Kritika, we have given for only one USN. For Abhimanyu, we are getting through USN, and for Sankalp, we are getting 3 USN. As we can refer them with their names given here. Making a new entry in a secondary index. Once you have inserted a new record in a data file, all you need to do is to copy the address of the record and then extract the USN name. Insert USN address in the primary index and insert name USN in the secondary index. We get the same access path which we discussed earlier. Deletion of an entry. As we have seen already that in case of a secondary index, the data is stored in data file itself. So in case we want to delete an entry, we have to do in the data file itself. However, we still need to remove the unnecessary elements from the index file, as it saves us a lot of time while searching. Modification of an existing entry. Modification of primary key. In this case, both primary as well as secondary index needs to be modified. Modification of secondary key. We'll have to delete, then re-enter the modifications primary key secondary key pair. In case we make changes to non-secondary key field, no changes are made to secondary index. Search. Binary search. Binary search can be applied to secondary index as well. For example, if we need to find all instances of the name Abhimanyu, we should first all apply binary search over the secondary index list. If the name is found, you continue to read the next name in the list to check if it's same as Abhimanyu. If yes, you copy it to the result list. We repeat the process if we encounter a different name. The name is not found where you display a relevant error message. Simple much. With this, we come to end of the indexing. I hope to have convey my knowledge to you properly. If you have some comments, please do mention them. I hope you had fun-filled learning experience. Thank you, Abhimanyu.